It's time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk, live from the Golden Q in Hayes. The Golden Q, dining, billiards, and a whole lot more. 2 blocks east of campus. The Golden Q. If the game is on, we're open. Tiger Talk is also brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Alice, banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, expertise, technology, and compassion, all right here. Adams Brown, strategic allies and CPAs. BTI, your John Deere dealer in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. The Taco Shop, dine in, carry out, or delivery. You've never had it so good. G&L Tire and Automotive, complete automotive service and repair, and tires for all driving needs.
And welcome into Tiger Talk here on this Monday. This is Gerard Wellbrock. I'll be joined by head Fort Hays State women's coach Tony Hobson and men's coach Mark Johnson as we gear up for the MIAA tournament back in Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City. Games beginning Wednesday. The Tiger women will play Thursday afternoon. The men will play Friday night in the final game of the quarterfinals. We'll have a preview and look at all of that as we move along here in the program. Again, we're live at the Golden Q. If the game's on, they're open. Of course, their daily food and drink specials, the burger of the month. I think today's the final day for that Crab Rangoon burger. We'll have a new burger of the month coming out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But this will be our final basketball Tiger Talk. Hard to believe how quickly it goes, but have a few weeks off. Hopefully a long time off because of Fort Hays State basketball making a deep postseason run, and we'll have our spring sports, baseball, softball programs coming up later in the month. Again, we're live at the Golden Q. We bring in the coach of the MIAA regular season champion women's basketball team, Tony Hobson, second in a row, third in 4, and fourth since joining the MIAA. Congratulations. Quite a feat. You've been on a pretty good little run here, and it was a fun way to wrap up the regular season Saturday in Maryville.
Well, it was, and it's really hard to repeat. You got 13 other teams in the conference who are trying to get what you have. So winning one the first time was very difficult, and then you know winning it back to back is a feat because you're facing people that you get their best shot every night, and you have a lot of pressure to win every game, and so you gotta hand it to our kids. We started out the season with 2 or 3 on the injured reserve, and as we started getting those kids back, we got a little deeper, and we had our backs up against it. We had to play the last 3 games have been against number 4 team in the conference on the road, number 5 team in the conference here, number 6 team in the conference on the road, and we had to win every one of them to win it. So our kids stepped up when they needed to, and we had some excellent games.
But you've always said, getting to the top of the mountain is quite a feat, but staying there is almost more difficult because you said you get everybody's best shot. And then you said 13 other teams won it, but you look at some of those 13, they're among the best in the country as well. I mean, this league, obviously, we know how difficult it is, and I think that even maybe exemplifies it even more what your team's been able to do. Well,
and then you're also just battling yourself. I mean, once you win it, last year once we won it, this year, kids and people in general just have a tendency to just lose maybe a little bit of their motivation to win it. Hey, we've already done it. You get a little complacent possibly, so you're also battling that. So you just, I'm proud of our kids the way we hung in there. We had a bad, what I call a bad loss. But you know what? If we hadn't had that, we probably don't run the table from there on in, because it was just something that needed to be. We needed to wake up in some way, and I don't know. I guess sometimes when when that happens, you just something inside of you says, we either need to get going or get gone, and we really played good down the stretch.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Two nice wins last week. You mentioned it, Missouri Western on Wednesday. Needed overtime against the Griffins, but you pulled that one out 78-69. And then Saturday in Maryville, 69-47 to wrap up the share of the MIAA crown. That game with Western, boy, it was a heck of a game. You knew you were going to get a good shot from them. They're trying to get into the NCAA. They're right there on that bubble, and, boy, they played well. But give your team credit, found a way to pull that one out.
Boy, that was a gut check. It was really gritty. I thought our kids, that last 5 minutes of regulation was as good defensively as we've played. We really stepped it up, and then in overtime, we got behind right away, gave up the first basket, and then from there on we were pretty stingy. So I thought the last 10 minutes of that 45-minute game were just we were really tough and did what we needed to do to win. But Missouri Western played well. They made a lot of shots. They were, like you said, they were a desperate team trying to get into trying to get into the NCAA tournament. I watched their game against Kearney, and they, after we beat them, they didn't play with the same fire, and you could just tell they were a little deflated because they thought their chances probably had come and went. So. We got a good shot from them. They played well. You have to give them credit, and our kids just played just a little bit better, and that's what it took.
Well, down 9 in the third quarter, they come out on fire. But as you said, you closed it out well, and you mentioned the defense, and that, to me anyway, feels like the area this team has maybe taken a step up since that Northeastern game. It just seems like you guys are a little bit different defensively now, and just playing really well on that side of the floor.
Well, I think that's just a place you can continue improving defensively through the end of this till the last game you play, and I just think with Bergman getting back healthy has helped us defensively, but also I think there's been a couple kids that have decided that, if I'm not shooting the ball as well as I normally do, this is one way I can stay out on the floor and I can just play just as hard as I can on defense, and one of them's Whitney Randall.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if she didn't make a basket the other night, but she was valuable because she shut down the other team's player completely, and in the same Wednesday. And so I think defensively she's really picked up. Jaden's playing great defense because it's down to crunch time, and she's a good defender. I never put her on the ball because I don't want to wear her out, because we need her to run the show and pass it and make shots and everything else. But when it comes down to it, she can shut somebody down. And Olivia's playing well. You saw Jesse Salick have a lot of impact on our game Saturday without scoring a point. So defensively, I think we're getting where we need to be, and it makes a big difference.
Well, Tigers get a couple of wins to wrap up the regular season crown. Now, of course, setting their sights for the postseason as they open MIAA tournament play. Don't know who they're playing yet, but they are in the quarterfinals on Thursday. We'll talk more about that as we move along. Tiger Talk brought to you by Golden Belt Bank of Hazen Ellis. Here to make every story shine brighter. It's the way they do banking, one story at a time. Check them out at goldenbeltbank.com. We'll take our first break. Be back with more with Fort Hays State coach Tony Hobson. It's Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction. They'll let him play on. Here's Hobbs, left wing three, bang! In transition, Jaden has a dozen. We've got a 1-point game, 50-49. Yeah, that was a 5-0 burst to start the fourth quarter on Wednesday night as Fort Hays State rallies and wins in overtime over Missouri Western, setting up a win and clinch a league championship Saturday in Maryville. They did that against Northwest Missouri State. Jane hit that three. She had, 15 assists, no turnovers in the two games last week. And I know the all-conference or the players of the week will be announced later today, but she had a great line. And Olivia Hollenbeck, hard to imagine anybody having a better week than she did. On Wednesday, 21-7, 3 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. And Saturday, she goes for 25-12 with 3 more assists and 4 block shots. Yeah. I mean, she just really elevated her game here in the not just last week, but even before that. But that was about as good of a week as she's had since she's been a Tiger.
Well, it has been. And, boy, the timing was nice. We needed a boost like that. And the thing I noticed from that highlight with Jaden is the sound after it went in.
Oh, it was a great crowd.
That was a reaction that, not everybody gets to experience. Not all teams get to experience that. And so that was cool. But she had a really solid two games, Jaden did. But, Olivia, she's struggled this year with, she's been battling a neck injury off and on. She missed a game because of sickness. She, just here and there, just goofy little things. And she hasn't ever been able to just really get a long string of good games in a row just because of things like that. But Wednesday against a quality post player, had a great game and was up to the task. And then, Saturday she just, I think we sensed a little weakness defensively, and that was our plan. Mm-hmm. But how plans are. Usually made and changed real quick a lot of times. But she just dominated inside the fourth quarter, really the second half, and I think we ran about 3 different plays the second half. It was the same one over and over because it was working, and just played real physical. And one thing with Northwest big kids is they're big and strong.
Yeah, and
they were banging around in there, and If Olivia has an Achilles, it's being just a hair soft once in a while, but she's so much tougher now than she was when she showed up here, and she's continuing to improve that part. She had great lines. I would be surprised if she wasn't Player of the Week, but I mean, I've been surprised before, but about that. But she's definitely deserving, and had a great 2-game little stretch for us. Hope she can keep that up.
No, you mentioned she seemed more aggressive in the paint and the toughness factor, and it just seems like she was up to the task. And that's a process when you make the switch to the college game, but it just seems like she's found a different gear, and she's been able to match that intensity when you need to inside.
Yeah, I'll tell you, big kids have a hard time transferring how they play in high school to college, because in high school you can't play very rough, and defensively, if you basically, when you're 6'3", you're trying to not run around and bump into somebody because they'll call foul.
Because you're 6'3".
Yeah, because wow, you're big and you shouldn't do that. And so sometimes it's a hard adjustment, and for most kids it is a hard adjustment going from high school to college. In the post play, just because of the physicality, and once you learn how to play offensively while you're getting bumped around a little bit and understand what you can do defensively, once they learn that, your good ones like Olivia is already a good player, but she's going to continue to get better. You have to remember she's got 3 years left, and she's learned, and I think she'll continue to improve.
Yeah, hard to sometimes remember how young your team really is. You got some veterans, but the rest of them all pretty young, and it's going to be exciting to watch them develop. We're right now at the bottom of the hour, so let's go ahead and pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Whether it's beer, wine, or spirits, pick up a winner at either of the 2 convenient Kaiser Liquor locations in Hays. Kaiser Liquor and 14 KEYS Hays.
Tiger Talk brought to you by Adams Brown, where they do more than just run numbers and file tax returns. They work hard to become strategic allies. Adams Brown, strategic allies and CPAs. Tigers wrapped up the regular season, beating Northwest Missouri State in Maryville Saturday. Great fourth quarter. You hold them to 6 points. And always fun when you can wrap up the regular season and put a trophy on the bus and bring it home with you.
Well, for sure. And that's the second year in a row we've been there and collected one. So, yeah, that's what we try to do is just, anytime you can win a trophy and put a banner up, it's a good day. And finished it off in style. We didn't have a big lead and kind of hold them off or anything like that. We just kind of put the hammer down in the fourth quarter, and our kids were locked in defensively as well as I've seen them. And a comment by Austin, Coach Meyer, after the game was, he says, nobody's guarded us like that all year. That's tough, and I just thought we just did what we needed to do. We took they took their leading scorer kind of out of it a little bit and made somebody else try to beat us, and I just liked what I saw. The energy was there, and there was no let up. There was just not going to be a let up on us that day, I could tell.
Well, the Tigers win it. They wrap up the regular season. Now 25-3. They're the number 2 seed for the MIAA tournament. We'll talk about that, preview what's ahead for the Tigers this week. Back in Kansas City. That's always a lot of fun. We'll do that when we return. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Taco Shop. Dine in, carry out, or fast delivery. You know the number, 625-7114. Or you can download the handy Taco Shop app. Get the full menu at the Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. One more segment with Tony Hobson after the break here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Fact: 8th Street Liquor is where good times start. Next fact: 8th Street Liquor has the best selection and prices on beer, liquor, and wine. Okay, I don't want to bore you with all the facts, but the fact of the matter is, you just can't get better than 8th Street Liquor. Yep, 8th Street Liquor, where good times start. That's the fact. Jack? Oh yes, they have plenty of Jack too.
Hey, that's where.
Here's Hobbs up top, and Lona Hollenbeck spins through 2 defenders and missed. Got it back, scored, and is fouled. And a chance for a 3-point play for Olivia Hollenbeck, who has 18 today. 18 points, now 12 rebounds for Olivia. Yeah, career high 12 rebounds for Hollenbeck as she had the double-double Saturday, and the Tigers win the MIAA championship. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. We're live at the Golden Q. It's brought to you by BTI, your John Deere dealer. Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family, in partnership with your family. MIAA tournament week. The Tigers play the 2:15 game on Thursday. The 2 seed, they'll get either Central Oklahoma or Emporia State. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We did have a question sent in this week, and basically asking, do you like the tournament in Kansas City every year, or did you like it last year, that format? And I know the MIAA used to do that, where the top seed hosted. I guess if you're the 1 seed, it's great to be at home, but that's a pretty fun event in Kansas City.
Well, it is. I don't know, with the expense and all those things, I'm surprised that we don't just do the home court thing. But it is for. It's just a good postseason event. I mean, the teams that make it there are in the postseason because not everybody qualifies, and it's kind of a hassle to get down there and find parking, but still, it's kind of nice having everybody in that central location, and it's a neutral floor, and it's a kind of a big time feel to it. So, I think it'll stay there just because. Teams just enjoy it. Fans enjoy it, I think, once they get down there. And so, yeah, I think I like it. I think that's a better alternative. I would like to, if they just let me host it every year, we'd just have it here and it'd be fine. But
that's different, yeah.
I don't want to go. I sure don't want to be in Joplin this week playing, because that's what it would be. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to play in that gym any more than I need to, because it's always about 42 degrees and a draft coming through there. I think it's just a nice place. It's a good central location. It's a great atmosphere, and our fans don't seem to have any issue getting down there. So
Fort Hays is very well represented.
Yeah, if ours can get there, I don't see why all of them can't. But that goes for home games too. Nobody goes to their home games.
Yeah, just you mentioned the fans, and just kind of a shout out. The students have been great this year, and unfortunately, you had a big stretch of games when they were on break for Christmas. But since you've been back, good crowds. They were really into it here the last 2 or 3 home games, and easy to take it for granted, but it's among the best fans anywhere, and it was another fun year at home for your squad, and hopefully more home games to come. That'll still be determined.
It's certainly a possibility, and it's almost like getting the 1 seed in the region and getting the host is, you almost feel like, we're giving them something back. They get to come to some more games. Yeah. It's almost like you repay them for just a year of great crowds and support, and you hear those replays when we have noise when something good happens, and you can't hear a pin drop, and our band's always there, and they're good, and so it's the best atmosphere in our conference and probably in the country if it came down to it. There might be a couple other places that could compete, but and they'll show. They'll make the trip for Kansas City, and they should. I mean, we've got the 2 seed, the 3 seed. We could both win it. I know in ours, there's 10 teams in our tournament, and I've never said this before, but all 9 of those other teams can beat us. Mm-hmm. We can definitely beat all of them, but they can all beat us. They're good enough on a given night, so it's going to be a knockdown drag-out on our side.
Yeah, I think it's about as deep of women's field, and as you said, and you look at you're the 2 seed. You get either UCO or Emporia State in your quarterfinal game. I mean, that's going to be a challenge, and you won't know to the day before, but you get the benefit of not having to play on Wednesday. But I guess that makes it a little bit more challenging in the sense that you're not going to know who you play until mid-afternoon on Wednesday.
Yeah, for sure, and yeah, we don't have to play that game, but I just really don't think the fatigue thing is a deal. I think the second game on that second day for the teams that we might play, they've already got a game under their belt in the facility, and maybe they have a little fatigue. So I'd say it's no better than a push. Mm-hmm. I'd say where that really gets into play is that next game when you have to play 3 games in 4 days or 4 games in 5 days. Then fatigue starts setting in.
Well, it should be a lot of fun. Great to be back in Kansas City, and just said it's going to be a wide-open race, but it should be a lot of fun. Always a great time of the year, and as you kind of said, you push through the regular season. Now we're into the postseason. You build everything for this time, and now it's a matter of who plays better on any given day, and hopefully your squad's up to the task. We know they will be.
Well, that's tournaments are they're a one-day deal. It isn't like the regular season. It's through a 3.5-4 month. Just grind. This is a one day. You got to play well. This is kind of a quick little phase 2 of our season, conference tournament. Phase 3, you hope, is the NCAA tournament. So we're in little phase 2, and we need to play well.
Sounds good. We'll see you in Kansas City.
Okay, thanks, Gerard.
Tony Hobson, coach of the Fort Hays State women. Again, they will play at 2:15 on Thursday against the winner of Wednesday afternoon's game between Central Oklahoma and Emporia State. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some men's basketball. Mark Johnson joins us. When we return, Tiger Talk brought to you by the Hayes Orthopedic Institute. Expertise, technology, and compassion. It's all right here. Hayes Orthopedic Institute. They're the official team physicians for Fort Hays State Athletics. Back after the break on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here. It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it.
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM.
94.3 FM, KAYS. Go ahead, check us out.
It's rebounded by Jansson. Out ahead to Hammocky. Caleb up the right sideline. Now attacks the baseline. Out to B. Wide open. A three-pointer. Knocked it in. Bjarne Jansson. It's only his 6th three-point basket of the year, but he's hit 3 out of his last 3. And it's 24-17. Fort Hays State back up by 7. Yeah, that was a good start to the second half on Wednesday. The Tigers go on and beat Missouri Western 56-42 and then fall in the regular season finale Saturday at Northwest Missouri State 57-49. Welcome back into Tiger Talk. It is presented once again here on this Monday by the G&L Tire and Automotive. Great tires for all driving conditions and budgets, along with complete automotive service and repair. That's G&L Tire, just east of Main, 8th and Main on the Bricks in downtown Hays. Course live again at the Golden Q at the games on We're Open. Mark Johnson, head men's coach, joins us and got that win on Wednesday, set up a chance to play for a conference title, at least a share of it on Saturday, and just couldn't quite get it done, but been a heck of a run here during the regular season. Your team ends up finishing in 3rd place. Obviously, you would love to have brought a trophy home, but a pretty good run now as you get set for the postseason.
Yeah, disappointing. I mean, we finished, you're in 3rd, but you're 1 game out of 1st, and those guys tied. But a good week as far as, we held our opponents to under 50 points. I think we gave up an average of 49.5 points a game and just couldn't get over the hump offensively. We needed one more stretch. We had, just basically at halftime we're down 29-15 to Northwest has told the guys, hey guys, if we keep guarding the rebounding, we just need one spurt, probably maybe of a 5-minute stretch of run good offense, and we did that. And the problem is we couldn't do that in the first half. We probably needed a 4 to 5 minute stretch in the first half, 4 to 5 minute stretch in the second half to pull that off. What I marvel at our guys, I feel like most years we've been pretty good defensively, and you've seen this happen to teams. Our guys don't let their offense deter their defense. You see so many times like you struggle mightily on the offensive end that eventually it bleeds into your defense and you have a drop in your defense. And really all year our guys have never let that affect what they're doing on the defensive end, and it says a lot about them and all that. They've had a great year, and obviously disappointed we couldn't close it out. We had an opportunity there. We had a tie game with 10 minutes to go, had a couple opportunities to take the lead, and I've really felt like Northwest was getting a little bit tight. And I think if we would have gotten the lead, it doesn't mean we would have won, but I think it would have definitely gone down to the final possession or 2 of the game.
Yeah, 2 things in that game, Stan. You go over like 9.5 minutes without scoring. That's when you fell behind eventually by 18, but battled back. But you got it tied. I think you had 3 straight possessions. You got to stop and had a pretty good look and couldn't score to grab the lead. I don't know if it's 5 or 6 possessions in a row, because then they went on that little 8-0 run. That was really kind of where they won the game.
Yeah, for sure. And we just couldn't, I give our guys credit. Like I said, I think, again, this is however many years in a row or whatever. I think if you look at the basis off, points per possession and all that, what they do, I think in Northwest, again, going into the last week of the season, I don't know where they end up finishing, most efficient offense in the country at all levels. And I think we held them to 4 points in the first 10.5 minutes of the second half. So our guys were pretty locked in defensively and made it extremely difficult on them.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And who knows? You might get a chance to play them again. That'd be interesting to see if you do hook up a 3rd time. But anyway, it was a great atmosphere. Obviously, they were playing for a league title as well. It was packed. It's not a big arena, but that was fun, and your guys seemed to thrive on that. I mean, it was a great college basketball atmosphere.
It was. They had a good crowd. They have that small arena that makes it loud and makes it seem like there's more people than the whatever. Though I think they had a little over 2,000 people. And honestly, with our guys, I'm sure, I guess it did, but I never really felt like the crowd had an effect. Maybe late in the game, I don't know, but I felt like our guys were pretty locked in, and never did I really feel like that crowd, made us struggle. I think what it probably did is, I think what that crowd did just sustain their energy. I thought Northwest was able to continue to play hard and pressure us for 40 minutes, but maybe they didn't have that crowd. They hit a wall a little bit and not sustain it. But other than that, I thought our guys did a great job of handling that crowd.
Jared Viston played well, 17 and 11, and you kind of commented after the game, maybe as physical as he's played, maybe his career, he was really good.
He was. He's been really good down the stretch. Jared's an interesting guy, you know what I mean? And the fact that he rebounds at such a high level, and you cannot rebound if you're not physical. I mean, that's just, you have to be a physical player. I think sometimes at offense, when the ball's in his hand around the rim, he doesn't play always as physical as you need to or like or whatever. I mean, he's still obviously really good. I thought he was extremely physical at the rim, played through contact, finish, and all that, and looked as good as he ever has. And he's been pretty good a lot of times. I think that's saying a lot. But yeah, hopefully he can continue that here in the postseason, and because he's really starting to shoot the ball well. I think he's up to, in conference play, up to 38% from three. And think about where he dug his hole. I think he's since maybe our last 12 games, 13 games where we won 11 out of 11-2, and your two losses are at Central Oklahoma, at Northwest. I believe maybe he's shooting close to around 50% from three in that stretch, and that's not coincidence. I mean, that helps us a lot when he does that.
And he, of course, wrapped up his home slate on Wednesday, and pretty fitting way for him to go out. 21 points, 16 boards, 8 of 16 shooting, 5 of 6 from three. I mean, he was not going to be denied in his final home game at Gross Memorial Coliseum.
Yeah, it was good for him. He was great, and it was nice to see him play that way, and he deserved that. He's, like I said, he needs to go down, and obviously statistically he will. He was a first-team All-League guy last year. You never, when you can't vote for, you never know. We'll find out here in the next day or two. I would hope he's, I know he'll at least be second team, but you hope he's another first team, but you're at the mercy of other people making decisions. You never know how that's going to turn out. But I mean, so even accolades wise and all that, I mean, he needs to go down as one of the best players at Fort Hays State, and he's just had a great career.
Well, and you honored him, Nige Wright, and Jackson Miller before the game on Senior Day. Always an emotional game, and with Nige, and we'll see if he is indeed done. Obviously, you kind of said the door's still open, but he's left a mark. Jared's obviously left a mark. Two guys that have been great for this program.
Well, they have. I mean, obviously they're good players, but in this group in general. But I think sometimes you feed off, obviously, your best players. You feed off your experienced players, your older players, your leaders. I mean, these guys are as good a guys as you can have in your program. I mean, Nige and Jared would, as a person, academically, socially, the whole thing, represent your program, and we all say that. People say that. It's easy to say. Every coach says that about their guys, and it's just, but for these guys, it's truly true. You know what I mean? And you can't have better people than those guys. And really, I feel like the group, our whole team, and same thing. I told our guys, we probably will only have one, maybe two guys on all defensive team. It's unfortunate. I think our whole team should be first team all defense, but definitely Nige, Gabe, and B should be 3 of the 5 guys. It won't happen, but these guys have been a fun group to coach and have got the most out of themselves, and hopefully we have a lot more basketball to play.
That's so, and the all-defensive team is so much stat-driven. I mean, they have a lot of block shots, a lot of steals, but I don't think it's hard to measure defense sometimes. You may not get any stats and yet be a lockdown defender.
No, quite. I mean, that's a problem. It depends what coach. I mean, hey, like I said, you might lead the league in steals and blocks, but you might also lead the league in most baskets given up. I mean, it's just it's defenses. You look at us. We're by far the best defensive team in the league, unquestioned. Yet I think we're maybe 11 out of 14 in steals. I mean, that's not what we do. We make it harder. Again, it's just way too subjective defense, even more so than all conference. You can, it's like I said, like if I'm recruiting for KU. Those guys are hard to get, but I can go to the gym and figure out who needs to play at KU. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot to go out there and go, yeah, that guy's the best guy on the deal. It's a little bit like recruiting at times at our level. It's such a hit and miss deal because if it was obvious, you're not. Yeah, in all defense sometimes it's not quite as obvious as all offense.
Well, the Tigers gearing up for the postseason. Back to Kansas City, the MIAA tournament. Tigers are the 3 seed. They'll have the late game on Friday. We'll talk about the Tigers and Missouri Southern. Who else would they play in the conference tournament? We'll talk about that when we return. We're live at the Golden Q on our final basketball Tiger Talk. Certainly glad to have you with us here throughout the season. And back after this on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a Listen Live link at HayesPost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country. 99 KZ Country.
Nige gets a screen, dribbles to his right, heads down the lane, to the rim. It's knocked out of his hands. Now Nanabu has it, a three. Good! Elisha Nanabu! It's only his fourth three of the year. It's a 2-point game. 33-31. Timeout, Northwest Missouri State. Yeah, as part of that comeback, when Elijah's hitting a three, things are rolling. That was a big basket. I think Gabe hit one to kind of keep you in the hunt there down the stretch, but that was a big play, part of that run. And he had a really good game and playing better, and it was good to see, but that was a nice basket there, and that was a fun comeback on those guys.
Yeah, when you're playing these teams, like it seems like we've been on now. Southern will be going to be a little bit more loose, free-flowing game. But a lot of these teams down at Rogers, Northeastern, Northwest, West, a guy like Central Missouri, Elijah's just a physical guy, and you got to be physical, and you got to be able to get downhill and get to the rim a little bit. And so he's, really him and Caleb are the two guys that can do that. He's got to be. They just back so far off of him at times. It's just hard to get there. He still finds a way to get there more than you think. But it's nice if he, make those threes, and if he could ever shoot it to the level enough right now, I don't know if, here that they have to actually come out and get a little bit closer, that'll really help him, his game moving forward.
Well, the Tigers back to the MIAA tournament. Good to be back. It's in Kansas City. We'll ask you the question that was sent in for us this week about the tournament in Kansas. You like it better in KC or the format they used to have where the number one seed hosts it?
I played years ago, obviously, the MIAA, and that was the format. You went to the Kansas City by far. I mean, I think if you, not to take anything away from the other sports at all, but if you ask the MIAA's office, they will tell you the best event they have in the MIAA is the basketball tournament. I mean, that's the featured highlight event for everybody. So I think it's tremendous that it's there. I think it's fun for your fans to get to go do a trip and get there and do that. I don't love the downtown area just for the fact, for me personally, convenience. Whether, hey, I need to get this or that. That's kind of. But I think it is great for the tournament to be downtown. You know what I mean? As far as the fans, it's just kind of a cool setup. Like I said, sometimes in the hotel and you're there for the week, and you're needing to get stuff, whether it be gas, convenience store, go this or that. It's kind of it can be a pain because we're not used to dealing with those kind of things. But yes, it's a no-brainer being there, in my opinion, and I would hate for it to ever leave.
Well, I think it is a fun event. You're right. And good for the Tigers to be back. You get Missouri Southern, beat them earlier this year, but it seems like so long ago. Can hardly remember you even played them. But why not? I think what's going to be the sixth time you've met the Lions in the MIAA tournament. It seems like every one of them has been just a heck of a battle.
It has, and I'm sure if we want to win, it'll have to be in the same situation. And it seems like we always play Southern, and then before Central Oklahoma was in our league, we played them in the NCAA tournament every year. So it's just kind of how it is. But it'll very talented. They had a kid not play when we played them earlier, injured, and now their overall size and athleticism are probably the highest we're going to face all year. When I say not the center position, but they're basically they're not playing their little point guard. They'll have one guy they play that's under 6'5". Everyone else will be 6'5", long athletes. So we'll have a small guard trying to guard. Last time we could put Gabe on Stan Scott. We might have to put Nige on him and all that. So it'll be a up and down game. They'll shoot it a little quicker. Hopefully we can play a little bit better offense and all that. So it'll be a tough test. I think they're one of the more talented teams in the league.
And the region came out last week. You dropped to 7. Obviously, that puts you firmly on the bubble. You got to do some damage in Kansas City if you want to make it to the NCAA.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that after the game. I mean, the easiest way to get there is to take care of your business. Don't rely on other people. So hopefully we come out there and get off to a positive start and keep moving. That
sounds good. We will see you Friday night at Municipal Auditorium.
All right, thanks, George.
That's Mark Johnson, coach of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Again, the women play at 2:15 on Thursday, and we'll be on the air at 1:50 with our Auto World pregame show. And then the men have the late game, 8:15 or thereabouts on Friday night, and we'll be on the air at 7:45 with the pregame show. Certainly hope to see you out at Municipal Auditorium. Fort Hays State attends it as well as anybody. Should be a fun time and hopefully a deep run for both the men and women. Tiger Talk brought to you by Golden Belt Bank of Hays and Ellis, Adams Brown, the Taco Shop, BTI, Hays Orthopedic Institute, and G&L Tire and Automotive. We appreciate you tuning in here during the basketball season. We'll have a couple of weeks off depending how deep the basketball run goes, and we'll have our softball and baseball programs coming up here from the Golden Q later in the month. I'm going to wrap it up from the Golden Q. So long, everyone.